see Sherry and Harriet still aren't here. Are they on holiday together? Do you think that's what's happened?
I think so.
Debbie, they've just gone off you. That's it. They just don't want to talk to people.
But you see, you haven't gone off me, have you?
I haven't. No, you can't get rid of me.
No.
So we have
exactly.
some lovely Linda Lusardi. Actually, Linda and I have some exciting news, but we'll tell you that at the end of the show, I think.
Ooh,
but
can't wait.
So Hilary O'Neill is never left. She.
I just spent my life in the chair waiting for you to just bring me back into the chat.
It's like the chair and the voice, isn't it? It sort of swings round, and here you are. And I had a really nice little day off the other day, and guess where I was?
Where were you, dear? You were with me, weren't you?
I was with Linda. Yes,
really?
I was.
What were you
in a
doing?
secret location?
Yes, we went to see a lovely Canadian man, didn't we?
We did, darling. He was just divine. Yes, watch this space.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Well, Hilary, I'm a bit upset, aren't you? Your hair's looking really lovely. I saw, actually, before we came on air, Hilary was actually curling it live, weren't you?
I was. Well, I found this gadget, and it doesn't need plugging in. You charge it up on a USB charger, and there we go. This is it. And the hair slots in the gap. The machine whirs away, takes the hair in, holds it for about 8 to 10 seconds, beeps, and you just undo it. And then you do what you want with it. You can have tight curls, you can have, and then just run my fingers. I just wanted a bit of movement in it, you see?
It looks lovely.
But then I really upset you, didn't I? Because I found it online and voucher for £18 and you have £59.99.
Because you know that Linda's got her bargain bucket on our show.
Yes.
It's a natural thing for her. Whatever you say, whatever you bring out, she goes, I can get it cheaper.
Yeah. No, it's great. This is for women on the go and men. This is ideal. Charge the USB up, put it in your bag, in the car, late for a meeting, on the train, you can do your hair.
And
not being paid to advertise it.
Would you get round your whole head of hair, or would you do one half and then the battery run out and you've got straight on the other side?
Yeah, that would be awkward.
That's
I think I'd
point.
probably do side, and then the back just whatever.
The back.
Yeah. It's like you see people that have got hair that looks fabulous at the front, and at the back, they just don't even comb it. It's very weird, isn't it? That's the one thing I always do. I always make sure the back looks good. Always.
Because where you sleep on it, sometimes you get like a bald patch. It looks like a bald patch.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it goes very flat. Anyway, we are. I bet our viewers will be very glad that we're talking about such interesting topics today.
Absolutely.
The mundanity factor, obviously, but we have actually a very, very cultured guest. She lives in France. No, she has been acting for many years, and she is a great friend of the show, and we love her. And she's not been on before, and I'm really excited to welcome the wonderful Carol Drinkwater. Hello, darling. Hi, Carol.
Hi,
Good
Carol.
afternoon. Hi.
Hi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm honoured.
Oh, well, we are honoured to have you. We are really honoured to have you. And your library, oh my goodness me. We had Debbie McGee on the other day, who's also got a library behind her. And you have as well. It makes me very envious. It's so exciting to see all those books.
Well, yes, lots of them are my research books, and I haven't read all of them, but I've read most of them.
Wow.
And you're in the beautiful France. I bet it's lovely and warm there, isn't it?
We have had nothing but rain for the last week, so you're very happy and not jealous.
Not so jealous.
It's not raining now, but it has absolutely poured down this week. So it's not like the end of April in the south of France. It's pretty damn grey and wet.
Oh,
Up to Sunday. Sunday's going to
at least you're in the south of France. That's a bit. Now, Carol, I want to talk to you about something that's quite serious, actually, and I think it's very poignant that we talk about this today, because you had a horrible experience with Laia Kazan, the film director, and just today we found out that one of our top and most influential actors, producers, Noel Clarke, has just been accused of sexual harassment, and I just want the Me Too movement and everything else. I know you wrote about it. I did as well. I wrote about my experiences with Michael Winner, and I just wondered how you feel that this is still happening with a man today who's only 45 years old.
Well, I'm first of all, I'm shocked that somebody he's got everything going for him, so you kind of wonder, what is the necessity of this when it's someone who's kind of much older and might not have any other opportunities with women? You kind of think, well, okay, they're using their power because they feel that they're actually losing their own skill, you know. But when it's someone as young and handsome as that, you kind of wonder what it is that's driving them. I think it's shocking that it's still going on. I think it's, I mean, over here in France, it's a very divided movement because many actresses, including people like Catherine Deneuve, think that we should just not talk about it and just accept that within the industry there are certain plays that go on and we just should see it as part of the industry. I completely disagree with that. I was destroyed by A Like As Anne. I was destroyed in the sense that it took me almost 40 years to write about it.
Wow.
I did try once before and actually sent something to him, but fortunately, because I didn't know about how I'd get sued, it came back address unknown. So that's actually very good. But when I wrote The Loft Girl, which is a novel I wrote about 2 or 3 years ago, which is actually about, you know, the attentat in Paris, the shootings and everything in Paris in 2015. There is a story of a woman, an actress in her 80s, and the story goes back to when she was a young actress, and I based the character on A Like As Anne, and it came out about a month before the Me Too movement started, or it was just beginning to awaken in America. And I talked about it to The Guardian and wrote about it for the Daily Mail as well, my experience. I spent a fortnight with Kazan. It was a rehearsal for a film that I then didn't get the part because I didn't sleep with him. And it was as simple and basic as that. He had someone else that he wanted to work with, fine. But he went out of his way. I rehearsed with him every day for 10 days over 2 weeks. And we were on our own in Sam Spiegel's offices in London. And I'd arrived because being the 26-year-old keen young actress that I was, I really did not believe that I was trained as a method actress, and I know that he was famous for working, you know, he kept saying to me, I want passion, show me passion. Well, of course, that was the last thing I could do when he was throwing me up against a wall. He had an erection. I was pinned in this office with him, and it went on every single day for 10 days.
Oh my goodness.
And I was terrified of him. And then we came to the screen test, and I was out at, I don't remember if it was Elstree or Pinewood, myself, Harold Pinter, who was reading in for Bob De Niro, who couldn't be there. And I was in my dressing room. Kazan had told the makeup artist no makeup for her. So in order to make me more vulnerable, no makeup. I imagine going into a Hollywood screen test and no makeup. Even at 26 or 27, you still feel the need for, you know, that bolster, don't you?
Yes.
There was a knock on the door about half an hour before the test was due to begin. There was just, Harold was reading in, the cameraman and Gadge, who was A Like As Anne, and there's a knock on the door, and it was Kazan, and he came into my dressing room, and I had a kind of chaise longue in there, and he threw me down on it and got on top of me, and it just became, I mean, it was horrible. I managed to get him off me, but after the fortnight I'd had with him at rehearsals, I was terrified of him. And then we got I got him off me, and I got him out of the dressing room, and I was shaking. And then I got called to go onto the set. There was no one there. This huge, great Pinewood or wherever it was, you know, sound stage, and they just set up this little area. And he said, well, go right for the big speech. And Harold said, well, why aren't we going to ease in as we did with the other actress this morning? He said, no, that's what I want to do. And during this long speech, which was a full close-up on me, which I'd learned, of course I had, and I'd done all the preparation, everything, he kept coming up to me and whispering in my ear, I want to you. And I'm trying to, there's Harold looking at me, and I'm trying to get myself concentrated. It's still very hard for me to talk about it.
Oh God,
it's horrifying, and he was destroying me at the same time. You know, he was breaking me down. He was destroying me, and he was very angry with me because I hadn't slept with him. Anyway, the screen test was a complete disaster, and Harold was making gestures saying, "What's happening?" But I was losing my words, and I tried to move over to Harold, and he said, "Get right back on your fucking spot and stay there until I tell you to move." And so we went through this appalling hour or 2 hours or whatever it was. It felt like
I'm surprised that didn't put you off ever going back to doing any other parts with anyone again.
Well, I think almost immediately after that, I got a a role with in The Shout with John Hurt and Alan Bates, who were the best people, just wonderful. Fantastic. And then I went straight on to All Creatures, which I in fact turned down, and my agent said, no, you absolutely must do this. But at the end of that, just to finish up, at the end of that day, he rang me from the Connaught, and I said, my flat in London, he said, do you want to come and spend the night with me at the Connaught? And I put the phone down on him. And that's all I ever heard of. I put the phone down on him. I was, but he destroyed me. For a long time, I was able to work because I had to. It was all I knew, actually it was all I knew then.
But the layers that he has embedded in you, because to say that you took 40 years to write about it,
it did
is so extraordinary. And, behind the face, behind the mask of us all, we all carry those type of stories. I'm just so moved. I do apologize. I got really moved then. I won't go into anything that I've done, but it's out there. It's out there right now.
Yes.
And it's still out there. I was on a cruise ship recently, Carol, and with Rosanna Arquette, and we had a really good talk about everything. And she was an absolute revelation to spend time with. I was in awe of everything she was trying to do, the movement and everything. But like Debbie, you're saying today, the news, it's just...
Why men so stupid? He's just thrown a fantastic career away.
I know, it's incredible.
Why? What's
that's because they think they're untouchable, I think. I think you get to a phase where you feel that you're untouchable.
That you can walk on water. And it's self-sabotage.
You can treat people how you like. And we all know those days when we so desperately wanted the work. And as others have said, we are here for the work. It is about the work that we want. But we so keen on that I was confused. I couldn't work out until it became very clear what was going on. But in the early days, when he kept saying, show me passion, and then was turning himself against me, I thought it was some kind of method acting thing that he was trying to do to get passion out of me.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I know, and we weren't allowed to talk about it in those days, because I remember as a very young...
26 back then. It's not like 26. 26 now, everyone's so blasé and all of that, and there's all porn and everything. But 26 back then, I wasn't a very experienced young woman. I had a couple of relationships, but I certainly wasn't someone that sex was just something that I just wouldn't have cared about. It was a romantic young thing.
What's extraordinary is I remember it happening with one of my very first auditions. I phoned my agent afterwards, who said to me, "Oh, darling, just forget it," because he's, I won't say who it was, but she said, he's very big time, darling. You'll never work again, and actually dismissed it. So we couldn't talk about it.
I think those things happen. Anyway, I think we need to go on to some Wonderbirds fun. So Hilary, you've got a great question, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm fascinated. As a traveller myself and spending a lot of time travelling, I read, am I right, that you spent 17 months travelling solo?
And the Mediterranean.
I know. I talk about experience. The Med, what a great place to be anyway. That's my favourite place on the entire planet. And doing so much research, which led you to develop...
Well, I was writing I've got a series of books called the Olive Farm series, which are all set here on our olive farm. And two of the books took me around the Mediterranean, the olive root, the olive tree. And I set off on my own with my backpack and, my camera and my notebooks and everything, and literally took buses and boats and walked and right the way around the Mediterranean. I started with the Eastern Mediterranean in search of the oldest olive trees and the olive history. And then I went round the Western Mediterranean, which Spain, Algeria, all those. I was in war zones. I got caught up in Al Qaeda bombings in Algeria, in Libya. I got caught up in all the pre-Gaddafi stuff, and in in Damascus. I was there for 9/11. I was out in the desert when 9/11 happened. So I had to go back home and then restart the whole journey a bit later. So I've known a few dangerous days, but I've also met some amazing people.
I bet.
Most of all, I came back with the sense of the validity and the real generosity of human beings. It was a very positive experience. There were times when I cried, there were times when I was very lonely, and there were times when I was jolly frightened. But, on the whole, it was a wonderful experience.
Did you meet your husband on these travels?
Oh, no. Michelle and I met in Australia I think it was in 1984 we met, at the end of 84.
Oh, lovely.
Wow.
We've been on and on. We had a break for a while, but we've been together virtually since then. Yeah.
And do you speak French? Are you fluent in French?
Oh yes, I speak French, yes, of course. Yeah.
Oh, you're an absolute marvel, isn't she? I think
Yeah, you are.
You are a marvel, and also you're a brilliant writer, Carol. And you've just actually got a book published yesterday.
I have.
Please tell us about that.
It's called An Act of Love. You can see it? Yeah.
Yes.
It's a war story, which is unusual for me. I mean, it's a historical novel. In one sense, it's a historical novel. It's about a refugee girl. So it's as modern as all the problems that are going on now. But this is a Jewish girl called Sarah, who I love to bits. She and her parents flee Poland, as so many did at that time, and they find themselves in the south of France, which was the free zone, and so Jews were welcome here. And then as the Nazis started to move into the free zone after North Africa had been taken by the Allies, it became more frightening. So they all that were hiding down here or down here on the coast, there were villages up in the hinterland behind Nice that took in refugees. And there's one village which is I called it Vilveseby, but that's not the real name. One village that my book is loosely based on, where they took in over 600 Jews. They took some gypsies and other kinds of refugees, but they were mainly Jews. They were Jews from Russia, from Poland, Estonia, and they were all in this village. They could speak their own languages. They could speak Yiddish to each other. They set up chess clubs. And the book is about this amazing 6 or 8 months. And my Sarah falls in love with a local boy, of course.
Of course.
Turns out to be working for the resistance. And it's Sarah's story. And it's about growing up in wartime. And I wanted to write a modern refugee story, but I thought that would be less accepted. This has had amazing reviews so far. Yes. And I think it's an important book because it really is told from an angle that's unusual in the sense that it's a young girl's growing up during wartime. And of course, it's a Jewish story.
And we can order it. We can order it now.
Can we get it on Amazon
today?
Fabulous.
Fantastic.
Well, we'll definitely do that.
So our editor house will put it on our blurb. So people who are watching the show, you can just press a button and order Carol's book.
Oh, fantastic.
I know.
Thank you.
That sounds amazing. Thank you so much.
An absolute ideal book to make into a movie.
I'd love it to be made into a movie. Yes, because it is. It's a young woman and it's a fresh story, and I think it would make a great movie. I mean, of course, I'd say that.
That sounds wonderful. Oh, Carol, I think you're a complete inspiration, and thank you so much for coming on the show. Would you come back again?
Oh, I'd
please?
be honoured. Absolutely honoured.
Thank you. We're honoured to have you.
I think that it would be great to have you on with Mike Simpkins, who's also an actor and an author. But Mike has his own book club with us once a month. So I'd love to hear you and him talk about a book each. It would be fabulous if you do that.
I'd love to do that. That would be fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it's with readers around like us, it's just fabulous. I just love listening to, finding out new books and new things. So it's lovely. And I'm just jealous of your library.
Yes. And your farm.
Yes.
And our farm. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Lovely. It sounds amazing.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you so much, Carol. We'll see you very soon, darling.
Thank you.
Lovely ladies. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, wow. Wasn't that amazing?
I was so surprised she went so in depth into what happened to her. I'm so pleased she did, because people need to know.
Yeah, I think that's why I got particularly moved. I know we all did, but it really proper moved me, because I don't think I've heard somebody speak so blatantly and openly about it. You read the articles, don't you? And when there's somebody right there and you're looking at them telling the story, it's got to stop. It isn't stopping. It's what's going on?
It's not. That's the thing, isn't it? It hasn't stopped, but we can only, it's a big sort of step forward, the Me Too movement. I think it's very interesting.
You said a lot of French actresses they think it should be stopped. But I don't know. It's kind of one thing. I understand where they're coming from as well. I think you can get a bit far too PC on the one hand, and on the other hand, it's just got to be respectful. That's all. And I do miss a bit of flirting. I said to somebody in the supermarket the other day. I said to something. I was sort of a bit quip to him, a bit of a sort of sexy quip, and I said to him, "I'm surprised you didn't say, oh, You shouldn't have said that. Or something. He said, I can't speak to you like that.
We shouldn't have to edit what we say all the time, should we? We shouldn't have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you do often wonder, whether these women are exaggerating, or they've just, somebody said something, or they put their arm around them. But when she tells a story like that, you think, oh my goodness, absolutely awful. Absolutely.
That's the real story, isn't it? The real sort of abuse.
To take 40 years to really talk about it, that's a lifetime.
It is.
Because it's so damaging. It is so damaging. It damages your confidence and the way you feel about yourself. It really does have an impact on.
And it also damages your trust for men. You're frightened to be left alone in a room with a man. Any man.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. But anyway, we're back tomorrow with Richard Arnold, and Sherry and Harriet will be back next Wednesday because we're having a bank holiday off. I can't even say that. We're having a bank holiday off. But Linda and I have got some exciting news. Everyone does think we've had a child together. It's true, this, isn't it?
I mean, your daughter looks like my daughter.
Oh,
gorgeous.
She looks more like me than Debbie. Here it does.
She does.
We have had a child together. We have birthed this new show called Beauty Angels, which is launched on the 4th of May.
Yes.
Which will be with you.
Wow. Is that next Tuesday or Wednesday?
It is. Tuesday. With Best Magazine too.
Best Magazine. We're getting the cover and a big article inside, so we're very lucky. But we've recorded the first one, that's in the bag. We're halfway through the second one, and they're going to be 2 a month, aren't they, Deb?
Yeah, so that's really fantastic.
Yeah.
We've asked the Wonderbirds if they'll come on and have some treatments for us, so they'll be appearing in and out. And Dee is in the first episode, and I'm sure we'll drag you into one of them as well.
Happy to be dragged, and I won't be kicking my heels. Thank you very much. Congratulations, girls. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
They are amazing. I've just seen a little clip of it, and it's so good. It's so good.
Well, it's jam-packed with every bit of information you want to know about anything to do with beauty. And we're going to be doing hair, makeup. Well, hair and makeup we'll do several shows on. Plastic surgery.
Yeah, and we've got Dr. Tracy Mountford. Those of you who watch the show will know Dr. Tracy. Dr. Tracy.
She's fabulous.
So it is going to be a blast, and we're very excited.
Wow.
Anyway, back to Saturday. I don't know what day it is. Back to Saturday. We will see you tomorrow. We will be here with Richard Arnold talking about our favourite snacks and
Nibbles. He'll make something of that, won't he, our Richard?
Yes, he will.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.